Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And today I'm back with another recap, but this new series was brought to me by BET Plus, and it's called Angel. So basically, it starts off with this little girl. She's basically telling her story, right? And it's where they're outside of outside with ambulance and cops around, and I guess her mother and father are talking to the police, and they was like, she's crazy, she burned the house down. But then at one point, the mother was like, I know what you was doing. And the mother didn't want the child anymore. So basically, you as a parent, a mother, is mad at your child for being with your husband, which is also her father. You're not mad at your husband because at this point, y'all both are adults and she's a child. So you actually condoning the fact that your husband is raping your daughter. And it's the daughter's fault why the house burned down. Granted, yes, she burned the house down. Well, tried to burn the house down. But did you ever think of why she burned the house down? Clearly, she's being molested by her father and you're not doing nothing about it. So anyways, I think at that time the child was about like 8 or 9, because they really don't say how old she is. But come to find out, she got put in foster care. So now, if fast forward, she's now in, I think, high school. We still don't know how old she is because they never said what her birthday was or whatever the case may be. So Angel, she's now in high school. She's in this abusive foster home with, 3 other girls. Come to find out, her foster mother be molesting the girls. And I believe Angel is the same age as another one of the foster girls that's there, because they go to the same school. And then they got 2 younger ones that go to the same school. So, yeah. One day, she was at the table with 2 of the younger girls eating some food. And then the foster mother came out and was like, you eating my food? And Angel was like, I'm hungry. And the foster care mother was like, the little bit of money that they do pay me for you, you don't have enough of food. So the foster woman, she goes by Teresa. Teresa slaps her, while the other 2 kids, they go by Milk and Rain. It's cute, but whatever. Are sitting at the table and they see what happens, and Angel gets up and she walks to her room. When she goes into the room, there's like 2 sets of bunk beds, which is 4 beds for, I guess, for the 4 girls. And she gets on her bed and she starts crying. Next thing you know, Milk comes into the room with her cupcake that she was eating at the table. And she gives it to Angel. And Angel devours that joint. That shows right there that she really be starving them kids. Like, she devoured that girl's cupcake. I thought she was going to eat half and then give the other half back to the girl. She ate that whole thing. And she signed to her thank you. Because I guess the girls are mute and she just don't like talking. I guess she been through some stuff too. So she signed thank you, and that was that. Next you know, Teresa comes into the room like, I need some cigarettes. So Angel fixes up her clothes and she takes the money to go to the store. So she goes to the store to get the cigarettes. And before she goes into the store, she sees a group of people outside. It's a girl dressed like a dude and 3 other guys. And I guess they're playing dice or dominoes. And one of the guys stepped to the girl and was like, she basically tried to play her, because even though she's a girl, she's dressed like a dude. He was like, you're a pussy. And she was like, just because I have one, that don't mean I'm going to let you play me like one. So she like, it's your go. She threw the dice down. And he goes down to check so he can do his turn. Soon as he bent down, She sliced him in his face. And oh, my bad, I skipped ahead. Okay, she see them outside the store, right? So Angel goes into the store. We're gonna get back to that. Goes into the store and asks the cashier for some cigarettes, and she was like, Teresa. So the guy basically was trying to hit on her. It was like, listen, every time, I'm gonna need you to, do something for me because I be breaking the law for you just to give you cigarettes. But I guess because she's underage, you got to be a certain age to get cigarettes, right? So she was like, do you want anything? I got candy. She was like, no. And he was like, well, eventually those 1,000 no's is going to eventually turn into a yes. So she basically took the cigarettes. It was like, whatever. So before she was leaving, she ran into one of her friends from school. And he basically like told her, like, I like you. I got a crush on you, I guess. So all along the lines is like, we should hang out sometime or whatever. She was like, okay, sure. So she leaves out the store with the cigarettes in her pocket. Next thing you know, that's when the girl that's like a dude, she tells the guy it's his turn, and that's when he bends down to do his turn, and she slices him on the face across his nose, and next thing you know, she pulls out a gun and she shoots him because he said something smart to her. Basically, she shot him in the balls. Yeah. So next thing you know, they start running. And then you see Angel start running towards where the girl ran to. Next thing you know, she stops behind the alley. And then next thing you know, the girl comes out with the gun to her face like, why are you following me? Who are you? And the girl's basically just standing there with the gun to her face like. And then the girl was like, I'm not scared. You not scared? She basically just stood there. She said, well, my name is Diamond. Who are you? She said, my name is Angel. And she was like, I guess I'll see you around. And that was that. Because she showed her how she did. She showed how she did with the razor under her tongue. And she was intrigued by that. So next thing you know, I guess hours done passed. And the girl Diamond told her to go about her business. And eventually hours done passed. And she gets back to the foster home. And when she comes in, it's late. Mind you, the foster, Teresa, she's on the couch with the other girl. Her name is Cherie. That's the same age as her. And she told her, she was like, listen, I lost the cigarettes. And she was like, so you've been gone all this time and you ain't got my cigarettes? All right, I'm about to show you. So she gets up into the girl's face by the door. And she tells her to, I'm going to show you. She gets up to the door and tells Angel to take off her clothes. Next thing you know, she goes to school the next day. And Cherie and her friends and some other kids that she don't even know are talking about her by her locker. And she comes in with these shades. And they was like, I heard that she was doing this and she got jumped and she just basically deserved it. So she gets her books and then she closes her locker, and I guess she goes to the bathroom, and then Cherie's in there with her friends, and there was like this B and all these other words, and Cherie was like, you deserved it. She was like, deserve what? Like, the mentality that Teresa done put these kids through is draining. And eventually the girls left and she goes to class. Her and Cherie got the same class. So she goes to class and she sits down, and her teacher is on her case like, you got to take the glasses off. This is the rules. You can't have glasses in school. And then the boy, Dante, who approached her when they was in the store, is in her class too. He's like, listen, back up off of her. Give her a break. And the teacher was like, you got to take the shades off. And she was like, I don't want to take the shades off. She was like, he was like, well, go to the principal. So she gladly picked up her bag and went to the principal's office. And Dante, then the teacher was like, did anybody else want to join her? Dante was like, surely I'll gladly join her. He picked up his step and left. Next, they walked outside the school. And he decided to take her back to his house, because she's actually hungry. Clearly, this girl been starved, so she had to get her eats on. So they get to his house. He started making some eggs and bacon, supposedly. But when he made the bacon was crispy hard. burnt. And she was like, I'm not eating that. And he was like, yeah, you're right. I'm not eating it either. So next day he makes some peanut butter jelly sandwiches. And they're having a good time. She still got her shades on. And he was like, what goes good with peanut butter? He gets up and gets some liquor. And they start drinking, have a good time. She's vibing out, dancing around while he's smoking a blunt or whatever. And they get back on the couch and they guess was having a moment. And it'll come down to the point where he was about to kiss her. But the next thing you know, she took her glasses off and she showed him her face. It was a big, bruised black eye. He was like, I'm so sorry for this. So they was about to have a moment and kiss. Next thing you know, the door came and somebody knocked on the door and he was like, hold that thought. So once he opened the door, it was his cousin and his two friends. Next thing you know, they see her because she's passed out drunk from all that liquor she was drinking on the couch. And next thing you know, the cousin, I think his name is Sean, he basically locks Dante out the room or locks him in the closet. And basically his Sean and his two friends, Stevie and JJ, they both have his turns with her. Basically, they ran a train on her. And she's basically incoherent, but she can still like see the people. And it's like fuzzy, but yeah. So next thing you know, eventually she's ends up outside. I don't know how, but she ends up outside, stumbling around drunk. And she ends up vomiting from all the liquor she drank. And her black eye, and her clothes all bloody and everything. And next thing you know, Diamond sees her from across the street in her car. And she runs up to her and basically takes her to her house. And Angel eventually wakes up. And Angel was like, and then Diamond was like, I'm glad to see you alive. And all Angel's asking for is her clothes. She's like, where are my clothes? And Diamond was like, listen, I threw those out. They have blood all over them. So she gets up out of the bed, starts talking to smack to Diamond. Mind you, Diamond the one who helped her. And she was like, I want my clothes. And Diamond was like, well, you could have just asked for me to go get it and stuff like that. Next, Diamond slaps her in her face and knocks her down to the floor. And then all you hear is Angel say, why people keep hurting me or touching me? And Diamond was like, because you let them. So basically, Diamond takes Angel underneath her wings, shows her the ropes of how to, survive life, shows her how she does that razor tongue trick, and, teaches her how to drive a car, teaches her about the lifestyle, whatever. So at first she was struggling, but then she starts getting it. And then also Angel told her about the guys that raped her. And yeah, so she stopped going to school for a while so that her face and stuff cleared up. Then next, she shows up at school, and Dante runs into her. Was like, listen, I tried to stop them. I helped them. She was like, by what? Like, you ain't tried hard enough. He was like, well, listen, I made the door come off the hinges and all the other stuff, but what you do after that? Like, it wasn't enough. So basically, he was left to leave her alone. And then Angel goes to see her two younger foster siblings, Milk and Rain, at school. She decides to take them to the park, have a good time, give them some money so that they can stay safe. And she let them know. She said, let me know next time if Teresa touches y'all, because, it's a problem. And then the girls also told Angel that Cherie was also, the same thing was happening to her and stuff like that. And one point where they went to go get ice cream, her gun ended up falling out of her pocket. And then the girls was like, why you have a gun? She was like, to survive. So after that, Diamond, she sets up a surprise. Before that, sets up a surprise for Angel. They go on a shopping spree, and Diamond gets Angel some new clothes, stuff like that. So while they're in the store shopping, just so happens Blueface comes into the store with his girl. And the girl was like, you're in good hands with Diamond. And the Angel was like, well, how do you know Blueface? She was like, it's a long story. So after doing that, Diamond takes her to her surprise, Come to find out, it's in some warehouse. They go downstairs. All 3 boys are tied up. And Diamond was like, shoot them. They raped you and all this other stuff. And you standing here crying. Next thing you know, Diamond pulled up her gun, and she shot all 3 of them. And then they left to go get something to eat. They went to go get pizza. While they was doing so, some detective came in and started talking to her. And she revealed that her real name was Simone, not Diamond. And then the cop left and said, listen, I'm going to put this on your tab. So after that, while they're back at their house, Angel's dancing with her headphones while Diamond is sitting at the table counting money or whatever. Next, you know, one of her friends come in, Miss Tony. That was the lookout person from in front of the warehouse where they went to go see the bodies. Comes in and they start dancing. She's like, what is she doing? She was like, Next year, they have a little dance-off competition. Angel and Miss Tony, they was doing their thing. And then Angel gets a phone call, and Rain calls and tells her, like, listen, Miss Teresa, she touched Milk. So it was already on site for that. So she gets to the house, and she gathers up the girls to tell them to get their stuff. They're going to come live with her. As they was about to leave out the door, Teresa comes in, and she told the girls to go back to the room to get the rest of their stuff. And then Teresa and Angel start struggling with each other, fighting. And Angel pulls out her razor and she slices Teresa in the face. Cherie comes out of her room with a shirt that says Teresa. Yeah. And to the point where Teresa fell against a coffee table, and Cherie ends up picking up the gun and shooting Teresa. And all you see is Angel's face like, what really just happened? It would happen. So next you know, all the girls end up leaving out the house, getting their stuff together, and Angel takes them to a hotel. So it's just the 4 of them. And you know, they get comfortable. They're staring out the window, looking at the stuff, thinking about what just really happened. And then the girls ask, Rain asks, what are we going to do? And then Milk waved to her in the mirror like, sign to what are we going to do? And Angel was like, listen, we're not doing that anymore. Speak. So Milk was like, what are we going to do? And Angel told her, survive. And Rain asked to go into the pool, and Angel was like, maybe later. So yeah, that was that episode. Very intense. A lot has went on. Now it's all about survival mode. So guys, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this recap of the new series Angels. You can only find on BT Plus. Episode 1, Growing Wings. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.